Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dad's Turn to Talk. My name is Bob, and I'm joined with my two favorite co-hosts. Josh, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Bob. Came off a really cool and fun weekend. Good day today. Just finished watching Raw and the national championship game. Can't wait to talk about that stuff tonight. Everything is good. How are you doing?
You want the truth or you want me to lie to you?
Lie.
Well, you know what? I'm actually doing pretty good. I can't complain. So wouldn't do any good if I did, though, would it?
No, it wouldn't.
No. And my other favorite co-host, Derek. How you doing? If I heard correctly, you said you're going on vacation. Is that right?
Yes, I leave for Vegas tomorrow. So
I may never go back. I might just stay in Vegas.
Here we go.
You know,
I was wondering if we were going to get some new ones tonight, and here we are already.
So where are you staying at?
The Fountain Blue. It's a new one down by. It's the Stratosphere set, I think. It's like the one, the side down by the Wynn and the Encore over there.
Yeah, last time I was over there, I think they were still putting it up. So I'm curious what it looks like inside. You're going to have to let me know what you think about it.
I'll send some photos.
Please do. Send some money. Even better.
No, I'm keeping the money.
Boy, you're right, Josh. He is greedy.
He is. He's greedy. He's going to keep that money. Now, What if you had won the $1 billion, Derek? Would you have shared any with us?
No.
Did you say $1 billion?
You know, the lottery. Wasn't it like 1.2 billion?
Okay, because I thought you were meant like there at the casino. I was like, what casino's giving away $1 billion?
I was about to say, right. If that's happening, then I need to get to that one.
That is funny. That's funny.
If I did win $1 billion, I'd take a bunch of pictures and then send them to you, though.
You're going to take pictures of the money?
Yeah, and then I'd say, you won't see a cent of that.
See, Josh, he would be like Scrooge McDuck. He would turn around and just dive into the money, start swimming around.
Yeah.
I can see Derek. Honey, where are you? I just took a dive into my money.
Yep. And if I was watching a certain somebody win the title this week, I would wipe my tears away with $100 bill like this.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. What's your shirt say, Derek?
Scrooge McDuck, the richest duck in the world.
Oh, I know a guy who's a grown man who has a shirt of that character.
Really?
Yes, you know him, Josh.
Dude, I told you to keep that private.
Who? Oh.
Yes, you don't need to say his name. It's fine. Don't say his name.
Yeah, okay. I just thought of it.
This says West Ham. Yeah, you asked what it says, Josh. It says West Ham.
Yes. Nice.
West Ham's a soccer team in London.
Since when are you a soccer fan?
Since I had to stay up early and late in the nights, and I had a little guy who was crying, and no other sports were on.
Wow, good for you.
Well, that doesn't mean you have to keep watching it.
Yeah, why didn't you watch a movie or something?
I did watch movies. Did you not hear me talk about Rocky 2?
I did. That is true. I need to watch that, actually. I need to go back and watch it.
Yes.
I watched Rocky Balboa, gentlemen. I went back and watched Rocky Balboa.
There you go.
Time to make some hurting bombs.
Oh, man. All right, Bobo.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. It's good to have you on. And I thought it was a pretty fun weekend. A lot of cool stuff happened. And then, of course, like Josh said, tonight was the national championship game as well. So we can talk a little bit about that. But before we get into that, gentlemen, there's something that I wanted to share with y'all. And Josh, did you ever watch Conan O'Brien?
A little bit.
What about you, Derek? Did you ever watch Conan O'Brien? And I'm talking like old school Conan. I'm talking like before he got the Tonight Show, back when Jay Leno was hosting the Tonight Show, and then he was right after.
With Andy Richter and everything.
Yeah, well, Andy Richter was with him afterwards too.
Oh, so. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but the early years, yeah. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, do you remember that? Do you remember that segment that he did called "If They Made It"?
If they made it, no.
If they made it.
No.
Okay, so
that's not the one that was like in the year 2000, right? That's
no. That was a different gimmick. So with If They Made It, Conan was able to get his hands on a very sophisticated piece of computer equipment. And with this, they could take the pictures of two celebrities that happened to be dating. And with that, they could turn around and tell you what the child would look like.
Yes.
Now, usually it ended up being some grotesque, image of the child or whatnot. But, it would have like one of their hairs, so the other one's nose, and so it was just real random pictures, So I was pretty impressed with that he was able to get his hands on that equipment, and so I started scouring the internet and eBay and everywhere, looking to see what I could find. And in a junkyard somewhere, I actually found this piece of computer equipment. Now, unfortunately, it was all busted up and I wasn't able to do anything with it. So I decided that I needed to get myself a lab assistant in order to try to get it to work. And I actually have some footage of the person that I found to help me put this thing together. Would you guys like to see that?
Yeah, we would love to.
All right, let me pull that up here.
Dr. Frankenstein.
No, it's Bob from Was It Good?
You're putting me on.
No, it's Bob from Was It Good? And I'm on a mission from the hottest new podcast, Dad's Turn to Talk. And I need an assistant to help me fix a really high-tech piece of equipment.
I see.
You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
So Igor and I, we decided to get to work, and we were working for hours upon hours on this thing, and we couldn't seem to get it to work. Finally figured out what the problem was. That it just wasn't getting enough electricity. So we decided to take it out into a thunderstorm and try to charge this thing up, and then something interesting happened.
In my creation, rise!
And so basically, though, I've said all of this to tell you that I got it to work. And,
Great.
And so now that I've got it working, I wanted to go ahead and put that to the test tonight, if that's okay with the two of y'all. Now, I've actually changed it up a little bit. Instead of, we can look at more than just celebrities who are dating. Okay, we can actually look at anybody that we want, and we can kind of figure out what an offspring would look like. So if you gents don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and give this a swirl, and let's see how it works.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here. We're going to start off with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Richard Simmons. Now, I think this is a good combination here because both are, good workout gurus,
Yeah.
Maybe not the same physique, but they're in shape. They keep themselves healthy. So let's see what a child would look like. Let me go ahead and hit the computer here, and let's see what we got here. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh.
You never looked better, Bobo. Look at that.
I don't know. I think this guy looks pretty happy here. What do you guys think of this guy here?
Good God.
And Andy's, yeah. There you go.
So yeah, a little too happy here on this one, but
oh, that is awesome.
The Arnold body and the Simmons shorts.
Yeah. So I think we should try another one. Let's see how it works out here. Let's see if we can get another good result here. So I think what we're going to try here is we're going to try Harry Potter and Uncle Fester. Two well-known characters from from franchises that are kind
Oh
of
God.
weird and spooky and whatnot. And let's see what we can get here. All right, I think we got this ready here. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I like the hat there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You can't see. At least you got the
I
scar.
noticed you still got the scar.
I know. Yeah,
Look
that's
at
the most
that,
important
Derrico.
part.
Yeah,
Look at that. Derek with the knives. Not
Yeah.
surprised.
Actually,
That looks
I
pretty-
think
actually, it's kind of good right there.
I know. Well, the glasses and the bald head. That's
The
that nails it,
glasses.
really.
Yeah. So, well, I think we need to do one more.
Please.
Of course you do.
We got one more. I think we can get out of this computer. And let's see. Let's try Dopey.
Oh God. Oh
And-
God. Oh God.
Wait, why are you saying, "Oh God"? I haven't done anything yet.
I-
We're gonna start with Dopey and
Oh.
Andre the Giant, and I think this could be a very interesting combination. What do you think, Derek? You
think
think
so,
this
too.
one could be interesting here?
I have thoughts. Yeah.
What about you, Josh? You think this one could be interesting?
You have no
All right.
idea how interesting.
All right, well, let's give this a try here. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see what we got here. I think that looks pretty good there.
Interesting. Good looking
Rather
guy. there.
accurate.
What do you mean rather accurate?
I like how he
Not
kept. I like how he kept the purple hat even.
Look at that.
The purple hat and the rock.
Could we have a little Andre impression, Derek?
God, you put that on the spot right now? I'm too busy enjoying the artwork.
And you can see this is real high tech here.
Yeah.
Yeah, very high
Very,
tech.
Yes. Spared no expense on this one.
No, that was right up. Yet only the finest.
Myth the Wizard.
You just wait till we get monetized. We're going to be ready to end that.
Oh my God.
Tell you what, this guy actually looks pretty good here. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how we do it on a Monday night.
Yeah. So, yeah. I thought that I wanted to
That
share
was
that
funny.
with you all and show you what
Thank
I've been working on in my laboratory with my assistant. So
You need to keep that safe.
yes, and one of these days we'll
Yes.
pull it out again
Yes.
and
Yes.
see what we can get out of this.
Inform
You know
Igor
what? Maybe
accordingly.
do a Mel Brooks little podcast show.
That might be pretty good. Yes.
That would be a good one.
So
What
is-
this is our version of If They Made It.
If they made it.
All right, gentlemen.
That was
Dopey
cool.
and Andre the Giant.
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
What are you talking about? That took weeks and days because I had to
I
fix
bet.
that equipment.
Exactly.
I mean,
That.
yeah. So, all right. So one thing we want to talk about this article that came out on the Hollywood Reporter. Said that Robert Downey Jr. was interested in returning as Iron Man. Let me pull up the article here real quick so that way I can get an exact quote here on this. So it says for the headline that Robert Downey Jr. says he'd happily return as Iron Man regularly throughout his dialogue. So, of course, the article goes into saying that he's interested to possibly return as Iron Man, but he says that's a role that's chose me. He says, I never say never and never bet against Kevin Feige. So says that he'd be happy to return. But of course, in the article, they go into how that could possibly happen, whether it be de-aging or whatnot. Josh, I know you got some feelings on this. Would you want to see Robert Downey come back as Iron Man?
Absolutely. I think we're missing him. I'm missing him in all these, shows that they're doing. I thought that he added a spark. Bob, you and I have talked for many years, and Derek and I have too, that he was such a perfect casting for Iron Man. And I just felt like, yes, he had a perfect ending to it all, but there were things that we still didn't get with him. Him versus the Mandarin, the real Mandarin, not that Iron Man 3 stuff. I was waiting to see if you had anything from Iron Man 3 there, Bob. That was funny.
No, I don't have anything from Iron Man 3, but
I mean, I remember seeing that movie and was like, oh, God,
I just thought it was disappointing that they don't show the real Mandarin, and the real Mandarin doesn't show up till Shang-Chi.
No, it's ridiculous. And I remember when Iron Man came out, you and I were like, yeah, we know maybe a tiny bit of Iron Man. It was Derek. Derek knew everything about it. He's like, oh, yeah, his arch rival is the Mandarin. You don't want to mess with that guy. So, yeah, I would have loved to see a movie like that with him. I mean, it's like we've talked about, Bob. The writing with Marvel has been a big miss. And we talked about Endgame and said if they never made another movie again, we were fine with that. But, you know, of course, they've come up with really bad stuff. And the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is actually even talking about it, believe me, I think they would need that. I think they would need that spark.
All right, Derek, why don't you tell me what you think?
I await the word of Vigo.
The Robert Downey is very good. I wish to see him again, yes. But maybe too soon.
Where are you from? The Upper West Side?
Everything you do is bad. I want you to know this. All right.
No one listens to me.
Okay, and you know, at its initial take, of course, it'd be nice to see Robert Downey Jr. back as an Iron Man. Who wouldn't love that? It's fun to think about people. Well, hold on, I'm not done yet. Of course, it would be a fun take to see him back, but there's 2 points to this. Number one, Josh, I understand where you're coming from and want to see Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man again.
Yeah.
You made the point about the writing. Now, do you think bringing him back is going to solve the writing?
I mean, that's what Bob said. Bob said that exact same thing to me earlier today, that look how bad the writing is. What are they going to do?
Well, that's what I mean. You can bring out,
I don't know.
you know, all the all-stars you want, but if you don't have a strategy in the game, it doesn't matter who you bring in.
Right.
So until they get something figured out in terms of how this writing is going, you'll have a nice moment with Robert Downey Jr., and then that'll be it. That's the first part. The second part is, what would you bring him back doing? I wouldn't oversaturate him at all. I would post him off on like some dimension, and somehow you run into him again, and then does something, and then one and done, and then he has to say goodbye. However that may be, if he dies again. So
wait a minute, you're saying the multiverse? You would put him in the multiverse and just do it that way?
As an initial thought, yeah. I don't know how they would want to bring him back. That's the other problem with this. How do you bring him back?
Well, that's one thing they were talking about in the article. They were saying that maybe they could do something through the multiverse, through Avengers Secret Wars or something like that. But so you might be onto something there, Derek.
Yeah, I go back in time. I mean, they did do that in Endgame, so that's an option.
Can I ask you guys this? Why couldn't you just do a separate like Iron Man movie that took place before Endgame?
I mean, you could, but then you'd have to de-age them, and that's even something that they said in the article, that if they were to do a prequel, then they'd have to de-age them. That's not exactly cheap. Well, I guess it should be cheap, but especially with all the deep fakes and stuff that people can do on the internet that look better than what they do in Hollywood. But apparently a lot of that can get real expensive. Look at what happened with the new Indiana Jones. From my understanding, that first 20 minutes was some of the most expensive part of the film.
Yeah.
Wow.
They showed an estimate for Johnny Depp when he did that in the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah.
And that was only like a good, 5 minutes?
I
And
don't think I saw that one.
It was through the roof. You weren't missing much. It was all right. I shouldn't say that.
Was that the one Dead Man Tell No Tales?
Yeah.
Was that
Dead
the
Man
one?
Tell No Tales. Yep.
Well, it's got to be better than the reboot they've got planned. So,
Oh God.
Talk about getting expensive with anti-aging. So I don't know. I guess it could be fun, but like I said, I wouldn't overdo it. I would make it a nice little appearance, make it count. Yeah. After that, let's leave it alone.
What do you think, Bob?
Like Derek said, I don't think that solves the writing issues. And to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the idea of bringing him back. I'm too afraid they're going to turn around and screw it up. I'd prefer them just leave it be, let his sacrifice mean something, and just enjoy what it was, because I'm too afraid that if we end up turning around doing something with him, it'll mess up with, or maybe not mess up, but it'll cheapen what came before. And I'm not a big fan of the idea of it. If he does agree to do it and they do decide to go that route, the only thing is they would need to make sure they have the right story. Because bringing Robert Downey Jr. back is going to have some nostalgia with it. I mean, granted, it's not nostalgic like 20 years old or anything like that. Well, I guess we're getting up there.
Yeah.
So,
far away.
but I do think that you can't just do nostalgia for nostalgic's sake. That's why Spider-Man No Way Home worked so well, because it wasn't just nostalgia thrown out there just to be in there. It actually served a purpose. And so that's ultimately what I would want. Would it be something good that would advance the overall MCU? Because if it's not, and it's just kind of a one and done, then what was the point?
And one point here. You got to be careful with how you do this, because you give people an inch, they'll take a mile. Then they'll start saying,
Right.
well, we want to see Scarlett Johansson back. We want to see Chris Evans back. We want to see all the other superheroes that are now apparently gone.
No, you bring up an excellent point there, Derek. One of the problems that Josh and I have with the current state of Star Wars, I think, started when they brought Darth Maul back in the Clone Wars, because this is a guy who got literally cut in half, and they brought him back, and now nobody dies from a lightsaber anymore.
No, except Qui-Gon.
Yeah, but yeah, everybody gets stabbed with lightsabers, and nothing ends up happening to any of them. So
that's the other point to this is, and now that I'm thinking more about this, what is that story to bring him back? They're gonna have to get awfully creative.
True.
I don't know.
It's like you said, the multiverse. It's the multiverse. Somehow something's got to happen where
the problem is, Josh, they haven't even done a good job with the multiverse as it is now.
But you said it's No Way Home.
Yeah, but No Way Home was also a Sony project.
True.
It wasn't just Marvel making that movie. Sony had a role in that too. Plus, they were using all the characters from the other Spider-Man films. If you look at what happened after No Way Home, what was the next movie after that? It was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh God.
Oh, was that the one? Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was the next one after No Way Home.
Yeah.
And there you go. That's my point. That one made I think it was under $1 billion, but it got pretty close. And the problem was it was doing it. It had that bump from No Way Home, and people were thinking, okay, this is going to carry on that multiverse story that they set up in No Way Home. And yeah, that wasn't a very good movie. Very disappointing. I really didn't like that one.
I hated that movie.
Josh hated it more than I did. I didn't hate it. I just didn't think it was good.
I thought it was ridiculous more than anything. I was like, wait, now zombie Doctor Strange is here to fight the good fight? I don't understand.
Well, that was part of their show What If that they have on
I
Disney
know,
Plus, so
but
they included that.
No, they had a zombie in Multiverse of Madness.
They
I know you
did.
don't remember, Josh, because you were probably asleep during that part. So,
or blacking it out.
Please.
and I'm not making fun of you for that. It's because it was a bad movie. So,
It was not. That movie sucked.
Shall we say not awesome? And to the other point about if you bring back superheroes, then you could explore the option of, oh, can we bring back supervillains? What if Thanos comes back? And now we're just redoing and reshuffling everything that we did previously, and that's not a path you really want to go down.
Hey, I'm waiting for Doctor Doom to show up. I want to see Doctor Doom done right. I think he could be the next big bad villain.
We've tried that twice.
I
Yeah.
know.
yeah,
I know.
I'm already afraid Marvel's going to double down on everything. I mean, you saw who they casted as the Silver Surfer.
Who do they cast?
Yeah.
I didn't see who that was.
I can't remember the actress's name.
From
She
Ozark.
plays in Ozark.
That's the Silver Surfer?
Yeah, she's obviously playing one of the female versions of the Silver Surfer, but obviously it's the Silver Surfer that nobody really knows or cares about.
There we go. Once again.
Trying to pick up an obscure character instead of just going with the one everybody knows.
Are they casting Galactus? Are they putting Galactus in there or no?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
It's best to stay away from that one. You could get
Really?
real cruddy with that.
But did you not like Galactus in Rise of the Silver Surfer?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, to be fair, this is why I've always thought the Fantastic Four should be a streaming show. Trying to pack that level of a story into 2 to 3 hours just on a screen, I think is dang near impossible. You almost need a streaming show like that to get into the layers of that, because the minute you do how they come to be the Fantastic Four versus how they stay the heroes in space,
right?
You try to do all that within 2 to 3 hours. Good luck. I don't think it's realistic.
Did you see Fantastic Four from 2015?
Yes, the one. Oh gosh, what's his name? I know what you're talking about.
Miles Teller.
Thank you. Yes.
I had heard that it was. Bobby's not seen it, but I had heard it had been bad. But my wife and I are like, we're just going to go check it out. Why not?
Okay.
It seems like maybe people are crazy. So we get in there, we're watching the movie, and the first hour is fine. We're like, what are they saying? And then they get their powers, and it went downhill unbelievably. We were looking at each other.
You thought the first hour was fine?
Yeah, I thought the first hour was fine. I thought when they got their powers, and it got very corny, and it was just like, it was horrible. Bobby still won't see it.
I thought the first.
I'm looking at y'all's reactions. That's enough for me to not have to go see it.
We've given him so much to love so far.
I know, right?
It's I don't want to be one of those dudes that when they turn around and sniff something and they're, oh God, this is awful. Hey, Ralph, come here, smell this. And Ralph comes over and smells it, even though he saw the reaction.
Derek and I were just talking about that.
Yeah. Ralph turns around. Oh God, that's horrible. Derek, come here, come smell it. I don't want to be that guy. I wish I could take credit for that joke. That's not.
What is this?
We're
never coming back to this restaurant, honey. Try this.
Exactly, but I see you two talking about how bad it is. Why do I want to put myself through that?
So Josh, let me tell you, that first hour was slow to me.
Wow. Okay.
I was literally just, go, come on.
The build up. Okay.
And then that's when they got the powers, and I can take your point about how things got corny fast.
Oh my God. Who played Susan Storm?
I thought the Doctor Doom was better than the other ones that came before that. I'll give you that.
See, I like the other Doctor Doom more than this one.
Terrible. F.
Wow.
I actually kind of got
terrible.
I kind of got a soft spot for the first Fantastic Four movie. It's not a good movie. I don't know. I just kind of got a soft spot for it. What's his name? Michael Chiklis as the Thing.
I'm pretty sure I'm related
It's
to him.
clubbering time.
And Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
Yeah.
It would have been fun to do a spin-off series with just those two. Messing with each
That
other
would have been
a whole
fun.
bunch. Yeah.
And who was it that played Sue Storm? What was it? Jessica Alba, right?
That was her.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then what's
And
his name?
that
Reed
wasn't so
Richards?
bad.
What's that?
That wasn't so bad.
Yeah, no, that you see, that's what I'm saying. I got a kind of a soft spot right there.
That's quite nice.
Who played Reed Richards? What's his name?
Oh, the British guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember it now. Ian something?
Let me look it up here real quick.
I think I'm right on
Because
that.
I liked him.
2005 was it?
Yeah, 2005. I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
That's crazy. That's almost 20
Um,
years ago. Wow.
Ian Gruffudd.
Whoa. Say that 5 times fast.
It's IOAN Gruffudd. I can't pronounce it. And then
No.
Julian McMahon was Dr. Doom.
Nip
He
Tuck
was on
a
Nip
great
Tuck, right? I was just
Yes.
about to ask you. He was on Nip Tuck.
show. Yeah, Nip Tuck was
He was on Nip Tuck.
a fantastic show if you're into some cynical things. So good job on him for that.
So basically, just to review, I think we should get Robert Downey back. Bobby really isn't down for it. Derek, you're kind of mixed because
Yeah.
if they can do it right, but it has to be maybe a one and done thing.
The right story, the right level of appearance, the right balance of all of that.
Got it.
Like, if it was the right story, then I could get on board with it. But it would have to be the right stories with the right director, with the right cast. Everything would have to just go well together.
They would really have to think that through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
diligently. So,
All right.
we'll see.
Anything else you guys want to talk about this?
No, I'm good. We'll see what
Okay.
happens.
All right. Well, I got a couple ideas what we can do next.
So you want to play Boggle or Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah. You want to play Boggle or Super Mario Brothers?
Well, do you?
Would you?
Yeah.
Do you want some coffee? Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the audience.
Oh, right.
No, with them. Because one time I turned to a dog and they helped me. Thank you. I love it when he's sitting there on the stand and he's you're just trying to help out a friend.
Yeah.
You're scared of what was happening to when you're scared. What?
What?
Rick
All right.
Moranis was a national treasure. That is all.
Oh, he was so good.
Yep.
He was so good.
So we're gonna go ahead and get into our next topic. We'll get into the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, and that actually just ended a little while ago. Final score was Connecticut or UConn won 75-60 over Purdue. Gentlemen, did you get to watch this?
A little bit, not that much. What about you?
I watched it until I saw what I thought was going to happen. And then it was done. What about yourself, bud?
Well, I watched. I tried to watch as much of it as I could. I'll be honest. I thought the first half was a lot more exciting because it was a lot closer, and then once UConn kind of grabbed a hold of that thing, it was pretty one-sided after that. They shut down Purdue. Well, I wouldn't say shut down, but their Purdue star player really didn't get to dominate like he had the rest of the tournament.
UConn plays good defense, though, right?
UConn
plays
good
good
defensive time.
No,
I'll be honest, I didn't
UConn
follow the tournament as much this year.
There was no need to. Therein lies the problem. Everybody knew UConn was going to win, and they did.
Didn't you pick them, Josh?
Yeah, I picked UConn to win it all. I picked UConn. I think I just won my bracket, actually, in fact.
It's that's why I didn't even pay attention to a bracket, honestly, because everybody was saying UConn was favored by this many, and it didn't matter where you looked. They were all saying the same thing. So I said, all right, well, if that's the case, then I guess there's no real reason in even bothering with this. And sure enough, here we are.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty one-sided in the second half.
Yeah.
And I tried to sit there and watch as much of it as I could, but it really got uninteresting, at least to me. But then again, I didn't have a horse in the contest. I really didn't care who won it.
I had them versus Houston, and Houston got out. So I was like, okay, well, I think
Who did
UConn will
Houston
win.
lose to? Who was that?
Oh, God.
You remember?
No.
Let me see if I can find out who they lost to here real quick.
Well, Bob is doing that. I will say this. Purdue gave it their best punch.
They did. And,
They
Purdue lost in the first round last year, Derek. They got
That's
upset
true.
in the first round.
Yeah, I remember that. They were coming back for blood this time.
Yeah.
But
Okay. What round did Houston lose in?
I want to say it was the Sweet 16.
Yes, they lost to Duke.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
They lost to Duke, who then turned around and lost to NC State.
Now, I will admit, anytime Duke loses, that's a treat.
Really?
That's always fun. Yes, they're the Dallas Cowboys of college basketball. I will never forget. Yeah, Josh and I were at U of A when they lost the final game.
Oh, Mike Dunleavy.
Yep.
Mike Dunleavy Jr. Oh,
and the only thing that provided a little bit of salvation was back, I think it was in 2010, when we faced them in the, was it the Sweet 16? And we bashed them by like 25 points. It was awesome. That was a good time.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I can understand that. I feel the same way every time Arizona loses.
I'm sure you do.
I do.
Grand
what the heck are you doing, John?
Yep.
What's that?
Are you making a DocuSign? What's going on here?
I am. A DocuSign.
No, I'm telling you, Derek, if you go back and watch some of the other shows, Josh is off distracted.
Sorry. You wanted to do this tonight, so come on, pay attention.
I'm paying attention. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. Work stuff. Work stuff.
Nobody's texting you at 10:30 or 9:30 at night for work.
They are actually. They just were. But you have my attention.
You need to find
my
a new line of
attention,
work.
and I heard everything. You're probably right. Just kidding.
But isn't that the worst when you get tournaments like this, where it's like, yeah, they're gonna win?
Yeah, I just
when
I didn't feel any.
Yeah.
I wasn't really excited about this year. Now maybe it's because I was busy the whole time, but I just really wasn't excited.
Well, it didn't seem to like you were like, okay, I think these number ones will win.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the final had 2 number ones in it.
I know. I mean, I had U of A losing to Baylor. I thought Baylor would come in and do something. I'm trying to remember some of the other upsets. Well, Kentucky losing, and I don't know if you guys heard that Calipari is leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas.
Did not hear that.
Yeah, that was mentioned today. There's a rumor they're saying that Kentucky was going to fire him, and he's like, oh, nope, I'm not letting him do that. I'm going to Arkansas.
You're not firing me. I quit.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It'll be weird. I mean, I'd like U of A next year to, God, wouldn't you like them to get better, Derek? They can't get out of the Sweet 16.
Yes, of course.
Oh my God, would you just like them to get better? Whatever they can do.
Can you just be better? Be better. No,
it's
you
just
can't.
Crazy. They just don't
Sweet
do
16,
anything.
Sweet 16 eliminated. Elite 8 eliminated. Sweet 16 eliminated. Yeah. Elite 8 eliminated.
I know. It's either we get beat in one of those rounds or we lose to Wisconsin.
We lost to Wisconsin once, didn't we?
No, twice. 2 years in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those were 2 good years. I remember that.
Yeah, we lost twice. So
Pub
I don't know. But
but
you know what? Good job for UConn. I mean, now the question is, can they three-peat? Who's the last team to three-peat? Has anybody three-peated?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm so used to football. I don't know.
I don't.
No idea.
Oh, you know who I bet? UCLA with Wooden.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good guess.
Bobby's
Yep.
looking it up.
Yep, I
Well,
think he is.
I
Tell
guess
me if I'm right. I'm curious if I'm right because I can't think of anybody else. I would thought Duke, but not Duke, right? No,
No. Duke didn't three-peat. They never went 3 in a row.
it's got to be UCLA.
All right, let's see. Looks like it was UCLA.
Yeah,
Wow.
good job.
Looks
What
like they
years
did it.
in the 70s?
Let's see. I don't know the exact years. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, UCLA holds the record for the most consecutive championships, winning 7 in a row from 67 to 1973.
Ooh, okay, that'll do it.
Can you imagine that? God. Wow.
Nicely done.
7 in a row.
Hmm.
Just so
Well,
crazy.
Congratulations to UConn. That's about all that's going in Connecticut, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, that and WWE.
I was about to say, I think their headquarters are still there, so maybe still that as well. So
I think, or did it move to New York? No, I think it's
no,
standing
I
in
didn't. I
Connecticut,
don't think
right?
it moved to New York yet. No, they got offices in New York, but I don't think that's headquarters.
All right, so congrats to UConn.
Yeah, congrats.
See if
I
maybe
mean,
they three-peat. Yeah, kind of shocked about the women's with Caitlin Clark. Thought Iowa would win, but I guess South Carolina looked good too.
when is the women's championship? Is it tomorrow?
No, it was yesterday. They
It was
lost.
yesterday?
It was yesterday.
For some reason, I thought the Final Four was yesterday.
No, it was on Friday night. For some reason, I don't know why.
Is-
I guess
normally the-
ABC. Yes,
Because the women
it was
historically
usually
have gone after, yeah.
You're right, but for some reason this year, and it's been on like ESPN and stuff, but I don't know. They just decided Friday night and then yesterday.
Switched it up.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, congrats, UConn. I say we move on to our other topic.
Wrestling. Wrestling is good. Who's your favorite wrestler?
So, as Henry Winkler said, we're
Yes.
going to get into some wrestling. Each of us saw WrestleMania, which is basically the Super Bowl of the WWE.
Yeah.
And that's the night that I think they buried AEW on Saturday, something like that. Don't remember exactly what happened, but I think they put the nail in the coffin to AEW or something like that. And you can see Josh just steaming over there.
His face looks redder.
So why does my face
Shut up!
I'm just teasing you, Josh, because I know how much you like AEW, and I mean, it's
fine.
okay. It's like I've said before. It's okay to like a bad movie. In this case, it's okay to like a bad product, but it is a bad product.
It's not a bad product. They have some of the best wrestling.
Okay, so do we need to talk about this now?
Bobby's the one that brought it up. Bobby can't
Yeah,
keep
well.
his mouth shut about it.
No, you know what? Let's save that for another podcast. That could be fun.
Fine. Okay, let's talk WrestleMania recap.
All right. So again, Saturday night one, the night the WWE buried AEW. Anyway, what'd you guys think of night one?
Go ahead, Josh.
Go ahead, Derek. Okay, I'll go. I thought it was very good. Kind of shocked by one of the matches, as you know. Couldn't believe that Gunther lost the IC title to Sami Zayn. I was reading today, they're saying that probably the reason was that Gunther is going to go after the world title. And so they just figured, have Sami beat him. I thought the main event was good. I didn't think it was great, but I still, I liked it. It was great to see The Rock in the ring. I thought The Rock, and I told you guys on the phone, I thought The Rock looked better now than he did against Cena 10 years ago.
Rock held his own.
Yeah, I thought he did well. And the cool thing, that spear by Reigns to The Rock, that was so good. That was
He's
just
so
so
the
good.
Rock's expression.
Yeah.
I know.
He
like,
sold that to
oversold.
death. It was great.
Yes. That was good. I thought, what else? The Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley match was good. I know, Derek, you weren't a big fan of that one. We kind of knew where it was going, unless Becky was going to take the title with her, on book tour. But, who knows?
I just point out we didn't think that, Derek. He thought that.
I thought, what I said was I wouldn't be surprised if Becky won because of the book tour, but I felt that Rhea was going to win. Was happy about the title ladder match with R-Truth and The Miz winning it for Raw, and then I guess SmackDown has the two new champs. Who is it? It's what's his name? I know Derek doesn't like it. Derek hates that
Grayson
thing.
Waller and Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, overall, I was going to say, that one was good. I thought night 2 was much better.
Hey, we'll get to night 2 in a minute.
But okay, go ahead, Derek.
So I was curious to see what other people, online thought about this one, and try to get the scoop and talk to some other people. I had a lot of people, not a lot, that's not right. I had a few people say that it was a dud. And I thought to myself, that was way too extreme. A dud? What was duddish about that? I will admit, when it first started, I got nervous because I thought the set looked weird. Apparently, it was really frigid there. I mean, it was 48, something like that. Which,
with wind chill, I think they said it was
yeah,
cold.
I know. At first, it doesn't sound that cold, but you got to sit in that for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And if you got that wind, gusting up too, that can't feel good. So I think that had to get to the crowd. It's not WWE's fault about the weather. And then Becky and Rhea kick it off, and that match seemed off. Something was off. And then I heard the commentator say that Becky had been fighting a case of strep throat.
Yes,
And
I did see that too, yeah.
That's attempts of like 102. So I gave her credit for just toughing it out after I heard that. But it did make me nervous. I'm like, man, this seems just like an off start. And then you see the two sets of belts. That was such a dumb idea. I don't know why they did that. Well, I know why they did it, but
the draft.
Well, yeah,
our favorite thing, the draft.
It doesn't mean it was a smart idea. But
No.
I will say this. It picked up because R-Truth is a national treasure. And we're lucky to have him. So that picked everything up, and he got the hugest ovation of the night at that point. And then as Bob and I were talking, I started to realize the ones that Bob thought he was going to go to the bathroom on, the ones I thought I was going to go to the concession stand with, actually turned out to be surprisingly fun. They were not bad at all. It was actually kind of a nice treat and a nice surprise.
Yep.
I love the Sammy Gunther match. I didn't like the outcome. I don't really buy Sammy as the guy to dethrone Gunther. And this is, Josh and I were talking about this yesterday. I get perspective here. It wasn't too long ago that we were all thinking that Sami Zayn was going to be the guy to dethrone Roman.
Right.
So I understand. I get it how we shouldn't really say that about Sammy winning this time. But that was then, and this is now. And I think Sammy's stock has dipped a little bit. But he's the champ, so, good on you. I still would have gone with Braun Breaker on that one. The main event, I loved. I loved the main event. I thought that was a blast. It took me back to the Attitude Era. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought all 4 guys played their parts very, very well. And The Rock surprised me more than anybody because he really did pull his weight. I thought he was going to get in there, do some, heel moves, take one big move from the baby faces, and then that was going to be it. He was in there for a lot of minutes and played his part to the hill. Mama Rose. So
Mama Rose.
Yep. Other than Jay versus Jimmy, I can't really say this was bad at all. As a matter of fact, I thought it was like an 8 out of 10. Thought it was just fine. Thought it worked.
Okay, Baba, what about you?
I thought night one was decent. I agree with you, Derek. The Rhea Becky match, it was off. I was expecting that to potentially be the second best match of the night, and I thought it was one of the bottom matches of it, at least in my opinion. The six the sixth tag with Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill against the Damage Control. I thought that the match itself was entertaining. It was better than I expected.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this to Josh, though, when it comes to Jade Cargill. Josh, how was it that you worded it about how they're booking her or how they're using her? I forget exactly what you said, but I said what she reminds me of is she kind of reminds me of Goldberg in that she's just coming in and smashing everybody, and that's kind of it. She feels almost like a one-trick pony, and I don't think that she is a one-trick pony, but it almost feels like that's what they're using her like.
I think she's a little out of place. She was just like on the apron. She didn't really get involved much in the match. And then finally she gets tagged in and what, 2 or 3
match is
moves?
over. Like,
boom.
Yeah, as soon as she came in.
So yeah, I don't get it.
But the match itself I thought was more entertaining than I expected. And I agree with you, Derek. I thought the Sami Zayn Gunther match was extremely entertaining. It was a good match.
Yeah.
The ending, I think it should have been somebody else to dethrone Gunther, but I do understand why they did it. And then as far as the main event goes, the main event, of course they were building it up as the greatest tag team match of all time, and it was far from the greatest tag team match of all time. Last year's tag match with Owens and Zayn against the Usos was way better.
You got to admit that, Derek. That was much better than this one.
Oh, that was awesome. That was great.
It did what it was supposed to do, and that was add to the build for night 2. And for that reason, I think the match, I thought it was an entertaining match as it was, but it did exactly what it needed to do. And that was to add to the build by having Rhodes and Rollins lose. And it adds to Rollins' story for him the next night. It adds to Rhodes' story. Just overall, it added to the build of the whole thing. And that's exactly what it needed to do. So I thought night 1 was pretty good. Was it the greatest night ever? No, but I think, and we'll get into that in a second, but night 2 actually elevates night 1. So anything else you guys got to say about night 1?
No, I think I think we can move on to night 2.
I'll go easy on that first match just because Becky was sick. She didn't.
I thought I was disappointed in it. I was expecting more.
I was too, but
yeah, I think
especially because Rhea and Charlotte was so good.
Yeah. Yes. Dear Lord.
So
yeah.
All right. So night 2, and why don't you talk about night 2, Derek? What were your impressions here?
So I heard Hunter at the press conference say that the purpose of night 1, I think this gets back to a point you were alluding to, Bob. The purpose of night 1 was to set the table for night 2. And that's exactly what it did. Other than the Philly street fight, which was actually better than I was expecting it would be, I didn't see a bad match on the show. And there were only 6 of them. Every single one counted. Every single one. Top, bottom, left, right. It didn't matter which match you watched. Something was great. With the exception, even the Philly street fight, you can probably find a fun little spot with, like when Montez jumped like he did. That was awesome. That was incredible. But overall, what was there not to love really about this night? Every match was great, and the ending couldn't have been any more poetically epic than it turned out to be. It was why we probably fell in love with wrestling to begin with. Well, I don't want to say that because Bob's a big Hulk Hogan fan, so I'm not going to take it that far. But you were reminded why it's awesome. That you definitely were. The fact that Samantha Irving could barely get the announcement out.
Yes.
And she had been killing it on the mic through the whole weekend, and that one just got her. She couldn't do it. And then I saw a video, I can send this to you guys, of Logan Paul watching from the boxes.
Yeah, I saw the video.
I saw it.
He looked probably exactly like we would have if we were there. It was awesome. And there's so much more I could truly say about it. And I don't know if it would do it full justice. But what I did love, I noticed this kind of the whole night, was all of us were sitting there wondering about the main event. We still had a smidgen of doubt about it the whole night. While all these matches are still going on that are great, we're all still like, do you think Roman's going to win? We kept saying it.
Yeah.
And that's how I know they got me, because I kept having this little smidgen of doubt in my head. So then we get to the main event, and that delivered 10 times over. So I can't say enough good things about it. I think I clocked this one at about a 9.5 out of 10. So I loved it. That was a real good night.
What about you, Josh? What'd you think of night 2?
I absolutely loved it. My God, that whole event. I'm going to start with something before I forget. We've all been watching wrestling for many, many, many years. And when a celebrity comes in, you're hesitant, right? You're like, why are they here? They don't deserve to be here. I had originally thought that was going to happen with Logan Paul. That guy is a star.
Yeah.
That guy loves wrestling and is willing to do stuff.
It was his 12th match.
My God, the match with him and Orton and Owens was phenomenal.
I mean, think about that. He held his own with Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And with Kevin Owens. I mean, these are two superstars. And this wasn't like he was wrestling a mid-card people.
No.
These are main eventers.
These are guys that have been doing it for years.
And then last year he gets in there and kills it with Seth Rollins. Before that, he gets in and does it with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Like every major guy that they have, it seems like he's been in the ring with, and he does nothing but hold his own. If that.
Yeah.
And then
he did amazing. And then when that part with his buddy basically starts talking trash to Orton, and everyone's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And then, did he take an RKO? That table did not break for anything.
No.
Oh my God. And then and I love the entrance with KO telling Orton to jump on. And you see Orton say, slow down. Slow down. So I thought that was great. Love the opening match with Seth and Drew McIntyre. My God, that beginning with the Claymore. And then I was like, oh my God, is he going to win that fast?
Well, if he had won that fast,
no, please, God, no.
I think the fans would have probably even liked it if it had happened, just because Drew has done so well, and the fact that Rollins was supposedly beat up from the night before. I think fans would have actually accepted that if that had happened that way, but I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad they at least pushed it. What was it? It wasn't even a long match.
It was like 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes,
15,
I think.
10, was it 15? I thought it was more like 10 to 15.
Maybe, or maybe it was.
Not 10.
But they were throwing fists and feet at each other hard.
I'll say this. I just want to point this out.
Yeah.
That whole match was just full of claymores and curb stomps. And now, and I have to point that out because I've heard him on numerous occasions complain when superstars just throw their finisher over and over and over and over again. That's all they did the whole match.
I know they did. No, I know they did. And it's funny. We first saw that with Shawn Michaels and Taker. Remember?
Yeah.
The very first match. That's what kind of kickstarted this whole finisher after finisher after finisher thing.
The
'Cause they
false,
didn't really
the
do that
false
much.
finishes. The false
Right,
finishes.
false finishes.
Yeah.
But and then like I just wasn't. Bobby's the one that called it out when he's like, "Did you see when Drew was talking to CM Punk? He's like, he wasted too much time. He's
Oh
losing the
yeah.
belt."
So, what we all agreed that if Drew won, that Priest wasn't going to cash in, but if he cashed in, it was because Rollins won.
We
And
were wrong.
so we were all shocked when they cashed in on Drew. Now I told Josh that once I saw him talking smack to Punk,
Yeah.
that's when I knew it was going to happen, because it was just they were carrying it too long.
Yeah.
So that told
Right.
me something was going to happen.
Correct.
Actually, it was the minute that Punk swept his feet. The minute Punk got involved
Oh,
physically,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is it.
You knew.
This is how this happens now. The minute
You
Punk
knew.
got involved, I did, because I was sitting thinking about it. I'm like, how could Drew get beat? How could he get cashed in on? And the minute Punk got involved physically, that was it. That was how you did it. So they were very smart on that level.
Now you said you did real quick. You said you didn't get to finish Raw tonight, right?
I caught pretty much all the big ticket stuff. I'm pretty sure I got just all. I got.
Did you see the end?
I saw when Drew McIntyre came out and read the place the riot act.
Okay, so you didn't see what happened.
I did not see that.
At the end.
No, I didn't see the ending. No, the ending ended.
Oh, I don't know if I should.
But Jey Uso won, right? Oh, okay.
Okay.
But no, Derek said he saw it.
Okay.
No.
Jey Uso won, but it's how he won. So
How did he win?
Okay, so Drew was standing there at the corner. 3, 2, 1, and right as he was about to take off, he stops, and the camera pans down, and Punk is down there holding his foot.
Oh my God.
And you see Drew turn around and be like, ah, and then all of a sudden he turns back around, and all of a sudden super kick. And so
Wow.
Punk cost Drew again.
Well, I think that's going to be an interesting matchup with Jay versus. It's so funny. I want Priest. Derek, I keep wanting to call him Punishment Martinez because I told Bobby earlier it came up through Ring of Honor. But yeah, I thought that match. Was happy with that. The AJ LA Knight match, pretty much, it was good. It was good. Doubts now. Is AJ going to retire? Is he not renewing his contract? I have no idea. I think Bobby said LA Knight needed to win because it helped to kind of re-elevate him.
Yeah.
Now he can go off and do, other stuff and try to get back to that main event status.
Yeah.
Exactly. The other match that I loved was the Bayley match. That match, we all thought, oh, Bayley's going to win, but they just told such a story with that match. And the moves and everything. And I just was excited. I was watching it with my daughter. She was like really into it and everything. And oh God, who was it? Was it Io Sky, right?
Yep.
And Io Sky, the way she took that, blocked that finisher from Bayley and did stuff. It was just a phenomenal match.
She's super underrated, is Io. Super underrated.
She is. And I'll be honest, guys, I'm just so excited with everything that's happened and what we can get now. All the different types of match combinations now, and then the main event. My God, it's funny. We talked to Bobby about Hulk and Andre and everything. I don't know if this topped it or not. It's up there. It could be 1A and 1B. Between those two is my favorite main events. I thought, and it was funny because they started the match, and you don't know this one, Bob, because you weren't on our text, and I was about to text Derek, and I'm like, okay, is somebody going to come out already? Because it's been a while, and nobody had come out, and Derek's like, nope, they planned it perfect. And I said the only time I got nervous that Roman was going to win was that combination spike and spear.
Yeah.
And I said, are they going to do it? And then after that, when Cena came out, I was like, yes. And then I was standing up in front of my TV, waiting for the glass to break, waiting for Austin to come out, and then all of a sudden, you hear the dong, and you're like, oh my God, it's Taker, which we talked about last week. And I said, could we have Taker? And you guys were like, no, it doesn't make sense. Who knows? But
Well,
just
it
the way The
doesn't.
Rock
It
did
still didn't
it
make
doesn't.
sense.
And then we keep forgetting about the Shield. When the Shield music hit, I was like, okay, did we open the forbidden door? Is Ambrose coming back? And then, of course, poor Rollins. The guy got his butt kicked all freaking night.
Seth was the unsung hero of the whole weekend. He did more for everybody else that he was in the ring with than just about anybody did.
I got something to say about that one. Just remind me if I don't say it when it comes to Seth Rollins and the Shield. So
Okay.
just if for some reason I skip it.
I know Derek gave his ranking. Last night to me was 9.5 out of 10. I would say the whole WrestleMania was probably 9 out of 10.
Interesting. Okay. Very good.
I think. All right, Bobo, let's hear it.
All right. I don't think this was the greatest WrestleMania ever, but I would definitely put the WrestleMania itself in the top 5. And the main event, I could argue that it's the greatest main event in WrestleMania history. I'm not saying for sure that it is, because obviously when it comes down to it, this is subjective and everybody's going to have their own opinion, but just some of the things that they did, and we'll get to that when I get to the main event. But when first for the world title match earlier in the night, when Punk cost Drew the belt, like I said earlier, once I saw him talking smack, I knew something was going to happen because they were just carrying it too long. So that let me know something was going to happen. Right. And I actually kind of like the way they did it. Now it sucks for Drew, but I think they're going to have a fun feud with him and Punk, especially with what they did tonight, where he was about to become the number 1 contender. And you see Punk sitting there holding his leg. And as he's holding his leg, he's like, I kid you not, he's laughing as he's holding it. And you see Drew getting ticked off. So I think it was great. They're building this thing good. I think this could be a fun one. And so I liked that match, and I liked the cash in. I actually thought it was well done. The street fight was better than I expected. I think there was only that one spot where they laid the guy on the table and it just broke apart before it.
Oh, I know. They were like, oh God.
And the crowd's of course booing, so they're like, and they go down and get another table.
Yes.
Can I just say something about real quick, Bob? I told Derek this. I think Montez Ford is a star.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
I think he's a star, and I think he could go on a singles run.
Give it time. Give it time.
Yeah.
Give it time.
The AJ Styles LA Knight, I thought was good too. I was pleased with the outcome. I agree with you, Josh. The Bayley match was much, much better than I expected. I enjoyed that one a lot more than the Rhea Becky match. Yeah. And the crowd was just going crazy for Bayley. So that made it even better, is that the crowd was electric with that. The 3-way for the US title, like you said, Logan Paul, he goes all out. He's impressive. And I'm pleased with what I see every time he wrestles. So great job. And then the main event. So what I was going to say is this is arguably the greatest main event in WrestleMania history. And I think it's because it's a few different reasons. First, there's the build. They built this thing for years. This doesn't even just start when Cody came back and finished the story. This actually started when Roman turned heel. And the reason I say it started then is because they turned Roman into this unbeatable champion, because in order to beat him, you also had to beat the bloodline.
Yep.
And you had to overcome insurmountable odds. And by every time it looked like he might lose, he would turn around and smash another one. And it's like what we talked about last week. Derek had said if he does win, where does Roman go? Because he's already beaten them all. I mean, he literally beat every big name that could turn around and dethrone him. So they started the build back then. And then to do what they did over the last year with Cody losing and then having to win the Rumble and bringing The Rock back in, and they kept building all the way through, even into night one. That was part of the build, because that opened up the door for what they did in the main event by making it a who's who of WrestleMania to show up. I mean, think about the people that were involved in that. You have Roman Reigns, who's been the face of the company for the last 3.5, 4 years. You had John Cena, who was the face of the company.
Yep.
You had The Rock, who was he was probably the 1B to Austin's 1A of the Attitude Era. So he was a face of the company. You know, you had, of course, The Undertaker show up, who's you can't get any more WrestleMania than The Undertaker. Yeah. You had Seth Rollins, who has been the workhorse of the company.
Yep.
And so just all the people that were involved in it. It was a who's who of the history of WrestleMania in a lot of ways. And the way they built it up, the bloodline rules actually allowed for that to happen.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, they kept building, and then the way they told the story in the match, and I mentioned this to Josh. The match itself was already really good.
Yeah, it was.
And then the moment Cena's music hit, the last 5 to 7 minutes of that match was just on a whole nother level. It elevated the rest of the match even further up, because as soon as Cena hit that ring, or his music hit, the electricity just jumped. And then The Rock comes out and it jumps again. And then they're in the ring together and it jumps again. And I was telling Josh that the only thing I would have done different is I would have had Cena maybe get a couple of punches in and then maybe bounce off the ropes and try to deliver a blow. And then that's when The Rock catches him with a rock bottom. But I understand why they did it the way they did, because they didn't want to take anything away from the actual main event, because already having all these people come in, it was going to do that. So, and then you have, again, The Undertaker show up. The gong goes off, and all of a sudden, the electricity jumps up again.
Yeah.
And so finally, when the Shield music hit, and Rollins is there, and after The Undertaker leaves, you have Rollins in the ring and you've got Seth. This is what I was going to mention, is that in a way, Seth, remember he said that he would be the shield for Cody Rhodes. I heard somebody mention this, and this was a very good point, is that he really was the shield, because Roman had the chair and he had a chance to hit Cody with it. And instead he turned around and hit Rollins with it.
Right. 10 years in the making, by the way. 10 years.
Yes, to get him back for what happened at the
so good.
WrestleMania when he cashed in. And sure enough, that gave Cody the time he needed. So when he tried to spear him, it was too late. And when Cody hit those crossroads, you hear Paul Heyman just, no. And finally, when he pins him, and like you said, Samantha Irving, was her trying to get it out to announce the winner, and just the emotion, even from the ring announcers to everybody else coming in. When was the last time we saw a bunch of wrestlers come in and celebrate with the winner like that? It's been
WrestleMania 10. Bret Hart.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
and for that reason, it was just something different about this one.
It was special.
Even though, like I said, the WrestleMania itself I don't think was the greatest ever. Like they're saying, well, it was the greatest ever. I don't think the whole event was, but I will argue that the main event could be the best ever.
The other thing about
Yeah.
the Bloodline story and like why this, I mean, if people are gonna, to your point, Josh, if you're gonna call this the best, like one of the greatest main events, that is to Bob's point about the story that was told.
Oh yeah.
To get there, and you can't.
Well, I gotta
go ahead.
Or no, I just want to say real quick, we got to give it to Triple H, to Paul Levesque. I mean, Derek has loved NXT for years when he was running things, and you could just see the guy has. I mean, he was trained by Killer Kowalski. He knows professional wrestling. Like, he wants to do well. And look, I think last year with Cody, we all thought Cody was going to win. Do I think McMahon had something to do with that? Yeah. I think maybe Cody would have won last year if McMahon wasn't around, but I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't
This
know about
ended up
that
being a
because
lot better.
Yeah, the way they built this, I don't think this could have been any better. And to be honest with you, it wasn't just the build. It was the fact that they paid it off.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than a good television show or a good movie that builds and builds and builds to kind of have a complete letdown right when you get it to the end, and it just ruins everything that they did before. We even see that in wrestling where they built, and when the match hits, it just wasn't there. This paid it off.
Yeah.
Oh, but like, what would have happened? Let's do a little what if, gentlemen. Say if the nightmare happened and Reigns had won, who would have come in who would have been his next challenger? Gunther?
See, that's the point. That's the problem. Where does it go? The next logical at that point would have been The Rock. But by them turning around and making him such a heel, it almost wouldn't work this time around. That's why it's better that if The Rock is going to come back, because he announced tonight that he's going on hiatus and then he'll come back. And he said he's going to come after Cody at that point. So that would make more sense for him to be that final boss at that time.
Yep. So SummerSlam, right?
Well, I don't know. He says he's going on hiatus. He didn't say how long.
He said he's going away for a while. That's all he said. He didn't say how long.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking SummerSlam against Cody.
Me too, but and that's a while. That's what, beginning of August?
Could be.
It's about
right, because I'm thinking of what Bobby said a couple months ago, that you have this, and then you're setting up Rock and Roman next year at WrestleMania.
Which I do think will be a match next year.
Yeah, me too.
I think so too, unless The Rock's in a movie and can't do it.
I think he'll open up the schedule for that.
Yeah.
No, but he's on the tour now. I mean, he's on the board.
Yeah,
he's legitimately on the board, so
he'll find a way to make that work.
Yep.
He's too hooked now. I could tell watching him this past weekend just how much he really does miss it, because you're not that when you put that much of yourself into it, you can tell. That's what he did. You can tell how much he loves it. He's not going to want to stop now.
No, And I'm curious who Cody fights, because they didn't set anything up tonight.
Well, they don't need to, because they're actually what they set up is the future with The Rock. They just set that up tonight.
Well, they could all. I mean, there's actually a couple different places he could take on this. We don't know exactly what's happening with the bloodline as of now. We know Roman's probably not going to be around for a little bit. Rock said he was bouncing, so he's gone. But that still leaves Solo and Jimmy. And Josh, if you're right, if Jacob Fatu comes into this mix, that's a whole other world of terror.
So, I was hoping he'd show up last night. I think
he comes in to avenge his cousin, right?
Yeah.
So that guy
I think that Paul Heyman should have a statement issued by Roman Reigns that is to be read, that basically says something along the lines of, "You will not see me until I believe I am to be seen. And in the meantime, you will feel terror while I am gone." And that's when he unleashes Jacob Fatu on the world.
May I have your attention, sir and or madam?
Yep.
So,
Um,
real quick, night one, what would you say was the match of the night?
Go ahead, Derek.
Match of the night. Well, I mean, me personally, I would say it's the main event, but you could make the argument that just on match itself, that it was Gunther and Sammy. The main event had a lot of props. There were a lot of things going on with it, other than just being
Right.
like in the ring 1-on-1.
Right.
So, but if I have to call one, for me, it's the main event. For me, it's the main event.
Okay.
That's just me.
What about you, Josh?
Because I haven't seen all of Sammy and Gunther, but I did watch all of the main event. God, that night one is tough. I mean, honestly, I probably, based on what I saw, probably Sammy and Gunther, I guess.
I get as to why. I get that.
I mean, the main event was, again, I think like Bob had a good point earlier, was the bar was set so high last year with the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that was
amazing. Like, so yeah, even though I didn't catch all of it from the highlights I saw, yeah, I would say that, because the Becky Lynch Rhea match was okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think any other matches. The ladder match was cool, but
Okay.
again, yeah, I don't know. So, what about you, Derek?
I already went.
Oh, you did. That's right. Sorry. Bob, who'd you
I'm
think?
going to say Gunther and Sammy. I think that was the best match of the night for night one, but I do think the main event was more important because, again, it added to the build for night two.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So night two, what was the match of the night, Josh?
Oh God, I gotta say the main event. I've got to say the main event.
I think we're all in agreement on this one that it was the main event.
I mean, the close second is Bailey and.
Okay, so let's do that.
I mean,
what was the second best match of the night? Because I think we all agree.
Bailey.
So you're saying Bailey and Io. Okay, what about you, Derek?
I really enjoyed AJ and LA Knight. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that match more than I thought I was going to. That was no nonsense. That was, we're going to throw fists in this from the minute the bell rings. And they didn't lay off each other for I don't know what it was, maybe like 12, 15 minutes. They laid it in and went full octane that whole time. And I really, really enjoyed that.
What about you, Bob?
Second best match, well, for me, I like the triple threat match. I really like.
It's a really good one.
I really thought Logan Paul
honorable
brought his A game, and the fact that he was able to hold his own with Orton and KO, I thought that match was really good. So I'm going to say that was the second best of the night. I can understand why anybody would argue for any of the other matches because all of them were solid, I thought, on night two. So, but obviously the main event was the best match of the night.
The truth
That was the best match of the whole WrestleMania. So,
if you asked me out of the both nights to pick matches, I would pick most of night two as my favorite matches.
I would too.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. You can make a case for any of the. I mean, like Bob had mentioned, let's just leave the main event alone on the Philly street fight out of there.
Right.
If anyone, you can make a case for any one of the other four that was your favorite, and I'd buy it.
Yeah,
I buy it completely. Bailey and Io, Bailey and Io, yes, sure. The triple threat, yes, sure, and I would understand Seth and Drew too.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, it's like what Bob said. That was like a match of finishers.
But even then, it was good. Even then, it was just solid because of Drew and just the way the fans were wanting to see Drew get his, but then to see him just be so arrogant with Punk and then to lose it the way he did. And I love the way he came out tonight. I had the title for 5 minutes. That's as long as
I got casted on. Excuse me. I got casted on by that bondage Undertaker.
And he tweeted during the night too. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, he tweets on the phone
with his wife.
And then he tweets again afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
so
great.
Good. So yeah, you could argue for any of the matches.
Yeah.
And Hunter, and it was Hunter. It's funny. You saw Stephanie McMahon last night, and you saw her at the Hall of Fame, and she looked better last night than she did at the Hall of Fame in terms of she just looked like mentally exhausted to me with everything that's happened.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best look to have her prancing around right now, but
well, I don't think nobody's really blaming Stephanie for this.
No, did she know?
Well,
in fact, no. From what I've heard, a lot of people say, if anything, they feel sorry for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Both Stephanie and Shane because they have kids of their own. Yeah. They and them and their kids have to deal with everything that happened and have that in their own personal life. So yeah, no, I think it was fine. And in fact, when she came out, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool that they have a McMahon there, because at the end of the day, despite everything that happened, you can't deny what the McMahon family has meant to wrestling. So
yeah, I remember saying the same thing, Josh, when we talked about the allegations that came out. And I remember saying, I'm like, I can't imagine what Stephanie's going through right now. Or Shane for that matter. But there's something that came out about Stephanie being involved with like Vince's behavior or something like that. And that's the only reason I was saying, I don't know if it's the best thing to throw her out there right now. But then again, it may be nothing too. So I don't know. None of this really do.
I just want to talk a little bit real quick about Roman Reigns.
All right.
This is a guy that, talking about an evolution, in 2014, he dominated the Rumble and lost. And I felt, in a way, they missed the boat then by not pushing him then. But, of course, they had the whole Daniel Bryan, Batista, Randy Orton, he was kind of moved out. And then, of course, 2015 comes along in Philadelphia, and he won the Rumble, and people booed him.
Who was next to him? Who was next to him?
The Rock. The Rock. And when he raised his hand and they booed him, Rock was like shocked. And from then on, it was like Reigns versus Lesnar. And we just got so sick and tired of it. We just were like, enough. And then, he gets sick and leaves. And then all of a sudden, COVID happens and he comes back and he reinvented himself with Paul Heyman, turned heel, which was something we all wanted John Cena to do, and they wouldn't do it. And then just last night, watching him wrestle, and we all three of us laughed about the hitting the crossroads on Cody. 1, 2, he kicks out and he looks at Paul and he's like, that move sucks. That move never worked.
You can't beat anybody.
Nobody can win with this move.
And he's just done so well, like the way he's done stuff. And, and again, I get on him for the lack of defending the title. And I didn't know until, they just said in the documentary that he's on this chemotherapy pill for life.
Look at you should feel terrible, Josh.
I know. I feel terrible. I messed up.
See, he doesn't want to take into account that, again, they're superstars now, that he's only wrestling on one show. They're not going to try to risk their moneymaker all the time. He carried the company with honor for the last 3.5, 4 years.
But like I told Bob, is he in my Mount Rushmore? No. He's in my top 10 probably. He's probably 9 or 10.
I have a feeling that he's going to be in a lot of people's Rushmore by the time his time is done.
I have a feeling he's going to have another reign.
Oh,
Huh?
maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another title reign at some point.
Oh, I think he will at some point. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon,
No,
but I
I
think he
have a feeling
will.
he'll get another one.
Yeah, no, I think now he will, and it'll be interesting. But and maybe he'll be a face. I don't know. Maybe they'll see how he does. But he's so good as a heel now.
That'll come later. That'll come way later. That's the third. That's Act 3. And all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I just think. But yeah, what he did last night, and then what Cody did. I loved. I was going to ask you, Derek. Did you love that entrance? Didn't that feel like almost like an independent wrestling vibe type of entrance?
A little bit. I did not like Cody's mask. That just did not do
What
it for me.
was he? Skeletor from Masters of the Universe?
That looked dumb. but like the flame, but like everything else looked really cool. Like I thought I saw like cannons.
Yeah, and then the flags and
that was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. But
yeah,
that was fun with the
Skeletor
mask. It didn't bother me.
Okay, well,
let us have our final battle.
No.
Oh
It's
God! Now I
always
need.
been between us.
It's got lights on it.
Now, when you find the Cosby key,
somebody opened the door. A very big door.
Oh, I love that movie.
That's
He-Man, thanks to Sorceress, your life. I've been looking for you.
Was that Frank Langella, Skeletor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was. That's right.
And the movie that we have yet to get another He-Man movie since. That's crazy.
One and done.
They just can't write the script.
Because it was such a masterpiece that all you needed was one. Thank you very much.
And I love the end credit. He comes through the water. I'll be back. Very original.
Wow.
I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Mania was great, guys.
Yeah,
very good.
It was. You guys got anything else?
Yeah.
No, Raw tonight. A bunch of NXT people showed up. Got some.
I think that's
both
because some of them are
champions.
going to be in the draft. I think that's why they were there.
Yeah. Really don't like the draft. Really don't think we need the draft. Don't understand the draft. It's like I told you guys. I told Bobby this. I don't know if I told you, Derek. If you're really going to do a draft, then we have a Raw only pay-per-view, and we have SmackDown only pay-per-views, and there's no mention of the other brands until like Survivor Series.
Can I make you
Make it legit then?
Can I make everybody feel a little bit more cleansed about the situation?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's another draft coming up that I think is going to make you feel much better about the idea of a draft, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Okay. Yeah. End of April. When
is the official day? When is that?
The what?
The official day when that is? Is it the last Thursday of April that it starts?
I just know Monday, April 29th is
one
part, and then Friday, April 26th, I believe.
Maybe it's then. Okay, good to know. We'll get to it, I'm sure.
Bobby's planning something right now. I can see it in his face.
Anything.
I didn't say anything.
You got anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Where can we find y'all on social media?
You first, Josh.
You can find me as the Family Man of the Valley. I'm a realtor on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn.
All right. What about you, Derek?
Let me get off my shower seat here and join the other old people at LinkedIn and Facebook.
And you can find me over at Was It Good at Bob Loves Movies over on YouTube, where we do movie and TV show reviews. Come and check us out, see what we're doing over there. Well, gentlemen, it was great talking to y'all tonight.
Pleasure.
Derek,
Nice.
I hope you enjoy yourself in
I may
Vegas.
never go back. How about you stay in Vegas?
Here we go.
Seriously, though, Derek, I want you to have a good time.
Oh, thank you.
Be
Appreciate
safe, buddy. Win some money.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
See you boys
All right.
next week. You can talk then.
Absolutely. You guys have a great night.
All right. You guys have
All
a
right.
good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.